The Bristol Pound is the UK's largest local currency. It was a digital and paper currency that was set up by a group of campaigners and financial activists in 2012. The currency had a network of over 2,000 individuals and independent businesses who could trade throughout Bristol using this currency, in turn localising supply chains and keeping the money circulating throughout Bristol. The Bristol Pound, made by local people for local people, aimed to grow on the back of Bristol's environment for creativity, innovation and community building, with the aim of tackling ethics and justice around social, environmental and economic change. The financial crisis of 2008 showed why a local currency could benefit a city, as the crisis brought to the forefront that the current economic systems extract wealth from local communities. Also, it damages the environment, increases inequality and turns high streets into carbon machines. So far, at its peak, the Bristol Pound had hundreds of transactions every week, which accounted for £1 million per year, totaling £6 million through its lifetime. It gave users the ability to pay for bus rides, train rides, to buy groceries and even pay tradesmen and their council tax. This ability showed that the bottom-up community project worked and that with support Bristol could become greener, fairer and stronger. The Bristol Pound is now changing to become Bristol Pay to tackle the changing world where people use less cash and more card.
Community currencies like Bristol Pay have been introduced to try and orientate the functions of the economy towards the benefits of the local community. Without them, the capitalist system is constructed around standardised, industrial perceptions of growth that focus on increasing consumption and disproportionate accumulation of wealth and influence, exacerbating inequality and diminishing the capabilities of small businesses. Using mass production and international trade, big transnational corporations have come into areas and dominated the consumer markets, scaling up the production and the profits in a process that, whilst good for the turnover of the companies, creates unsustainable negative impacts within the local community. These involve damages to the environment through the high carbon footprint that comes with international trade, as well as the greater production of excess waste. Weakening the capacity for small businesses to succeed by taking their consumer base with low prices only attainable through economies of scale and importing their supplies from outside the city. And an extraction of money away from the local economy, taken out of the city of Bristol towards various alternative destinations, with small amounts staying behind in local costs such as wages. The result is detrimental effects on the environment and local economy, whilst individuals and small groups have very little power in the decision-making process to overcome the situation. This is where Bristol Pay comes in, a citizen-led, radical and imaginative transformation that addresses the underlying causes of unsustainability by working towards an imagination of progress that is measured through community involvement with fair opportunity and distribution, instead of capital accumulation in the hands of the rich.
Local currencies help to keep money within a community. They encourage the purchase of locally produced goods, which in turn means greater circulation of money, so therefore a larger economic benefit to the people who live there. A local currency also allows more of the unused resources to be used because it offers them a greater incentive to do so. As the founders of the Bristol Pound stated, the financial crisis brought about the idea, and this is because a local currency can offer some protection against the devaluation of a national currency. The main environmental benefit to a local currency is if integrated properly, whereby the chain of local businesses that adopt the use is great enough, locals will rely on produce within their own community and therefore there can be a reduction in CO2 emissions from outside trading. There can be large environmental benefits to localisation through a local currency, using import substitution and avoiding transport costs, if locals can use this currency for produce closer to home. Also, through a local currency, communities tend to become more in touch with their local environment, including caring more about the environmental impacts around them. This can in turn lead to a more fruitful and thriving community for the environment.
Instead of the project being forced from above, Bristol Pay works from the bottom up, beginning its life through a small group of people pushing the innovation as a catalyst for change. As more people got involved, it grew stronger, gradually scaling up through utilising opportunities of incorporation into more businesses, including getting suppliers and traders involved with the currency. As Bristol Pay strengthens the community, the currency also grows with it. The team behind Bristol Pay have said that they have high ambitions for global economic change beyond just the city of Bristol. By making the idea's implementation both accessible and useful, they hope local economies all around the world can borrow their ideas to better meet the needs of local communities more broadly. However, large institutions are responsible for either prohibiting or enabling the innovation from imparting its productive changes to the economy on a greater scale. The new market disruption will be unfavourable for some at the top who benefit from the current system, but the community currency hopes to redistribute power, strengthening the capabilities of those at the bottom to force change from the top. The project has provided benefits to the people of Bristol, their environment and their economy, but beyond that, by enhancing community agency, the Bristol Pay project hopes to encourage transformations on the macro-institutional scale that shift the focus away from environmental destruction, inequality and repression, and closer to long-term resilience, sustainability and empowerment, bringing a more just system of exchange to communities inside and outside of Bristol.